My name is Kwame Gatlin, and this is Government Cooking. Today in the kitchen, we have the incredible Whitney Ray and the incomparable Robin A. Phillips. Today's topic is going to be on federalism. Before we enter the kitchen, I'm going to give you a brief overview. So, federalism is the separation of power between the state and the federal governments and how those powers fit into each other. So, now I'm going to talk about some types of powers they have. So, first we're going to talk about delegated powers. And delegated powers are powers that any one branch of government specifically has. So, like Congress, and specifically the Senate, can give what we call advice and consent, so they actually approve nominations that the president has. The next power we're going to talk about is the implied power, which are powers that aren't necessarily in the Constitution, but they can be like they're for open interpretation and they can be applied. So we talking about like the Bank of the U.S. In the Constitution, they don't have an article that specifically says you can set up a bank, but we can because of like things like the Elastic Clause. The next power we're going to talk about is the express power, and it's kind of like delegated power. It's a power that is just expressed in the Constitution, so you have like the power to declare war. So it's something like that. It's just mainly it's in the Elastic Clause where there are a couple amendments that says that. The next power we're going to talk about is enumerated powers, and that's just any kind of power written into the Constitution, like hard fact. So like Congress's power to declare war, or their power of impeachment, just anything that's actually written in the Constitution. The next power we have are inherent powers, so powers that a government needs to run itself. So like the power to acquire territory, you need that power so you can run a sovereign nation. The next power we're going to talk about are concurrent powers, and those are powers shared by both the federal and state governments. So like the power to levy taxes. A lot of states have state taxes and federal taxes, so that's a power that both these entities can kind of share. And the last power we're going to talk about right now is the reserve power, and that's a power that only the state has that the federal government does not have. So like with elections or education, the federal government doesn't have control over that, the state does. So whatever is going on in the school system of the state, that specific state controls it, not the federal government. So now we're going to head to the kitchen to talk about the specific types of federalism. So we're going to get the dual, we're going to get the cooperative, we're going to get into new federalism. It's going to be great.
The first type of federalism we have here is dual federalism, and it's represented here by a layered cake. Like a layered cake, each government, the federal and state, have supreme power in their own separate sphere. But like the cake with the chocolate and vanilla layer, they come together to make one beautiful cake. Type of federalism we have is new federalism, which is also known as the devilish revolution. And this is when the state starts to take power back from the federal government and transfer it to political subunits. With this cake, which is a confetti cake, we have the white cake, which is the state, overpowering the federal government, which is representative of the small pieces of confetti. The next type of federalism we have is cooperative federalism, which is going to be represented here by a marble cake. This is when the federal and state governments really share power and share their problems and how to solve them. They're very much mixed one into the other. Like this cake we have, the vanilla cake and the chocolate cake is mixed and swirled into it, so it's really muddy and the lines are blurred and everybody's just like one government.
The last type of federalism we have, we unfortunately don't have a cake for, but it's fiscal federalism. And that's the national pattern of spending through taxing and grants. So for that, we have grant aid programs, which is basically when the federal government gives the state government money for whatever reasons they want. So we have two specific types of grants. We have categorical grants, where the federal government gives the state government money for specific purposes and projects, like building a road, or they have block grants, which is just this federal government giving the state money for whatever their kind of needs are. And then we have different types of funding and like mandates. So mandates are requirements that states have to follow, and sometimes the federal government can give them funded mandates where they give them money to do the things, or they can give them unfunded mandates where the federal government just says you have to do it, you have to pay for it, and that's kind of what it is. So this has been government cooking. We've had a lot of cakes, we've had a lot of good times, so I hope you enjoyed it. I did too.